Hello, this is Essie, the Rich Woman. It's on Friday around noontime. Um, I gotta get ready and go to work, but I wanted to make this quick video because I was talking to my aunt the other night. I think it was Wednesday night. We were talking, and she said to me, um, "Make sure you keep some clothes on. Don't be in your apartment naked. Make sure you keep some clothes on." I said, yeah, I do. I keep clothes on now. I said, and when I was living in my other apartment, before I became homeless, I didn't wear clothes in my apartment. Right when I came home from work, I stripped naked at the door, and I was naked from then on. But I had a dream when I was still living in my car. I had a dream because sometimes I wasn't appropriately dressed in my car. So I had a dream, and I dreamed I walked up to my car and I looked in the window at myself sleeping, and I was fully clothed. Fully clothed. I had on a pair of jeans, a top, clothes on. I don't sleep like that. And I covered my windows, but in this dream, my windows were not covered. I didn't have no tint on my windows, and I walked up on myself sleeping in my car fully clothed. And I knew when I woke up from that dream that Yahweh was telling me to sleep with clothes on from now on. So when I had that dream, I always, from then on, slept with clothes on. And in this apartment, my blinds are vertical, and you can see there's little cracks and stuff in these blinds. I know I probably need to get some curtains and stuff and put them up. I haven't done that yet. I'm still like, I guess that'd be like probably the last thing I do. But I always have on, like, this is a nightgown. And I have a couple of house coats that I put on. Sometime when it get cold and I may not feel like turning on the heat right away. But my apartment before I became homeless had horizontal blinds, and you couldn't see nothing through those blinds. So she said to me, when she told me don't walk around your apartment naked, make sure you keep clothes on. She said, because these police are busting in people's homes and they will not even let you put clothes on. And she said that there was an incident with a man. They bust into his apartment, wrong apartment. It's always the wrong apartment. So it was the wrong apartment. She said he had on a t-shirt, but that was all he had on. And she said they took him outside like that. And now, if you go outside with no clothes on, you would get in trouble for like indecent, what you call it, this whatever you call it. But you get in trouble with the police for being outside nude. But the police didn't let this man get dressed and took him outside nude. He was undressed from the waist down, nothing. And so I was telling her, I said, yeah, they will do that. I said, I remember when they busted into this black lady's apartment. This was like all over social media, all over the news and everything. I think she got a lawsuit. I think she got money behind that. But they busted into her apartment, wrong apartment. The woman had just got home from work. She took off her clothes, and that's when they bust in, looking for, I think, a relative of hers that did not live there. And all these men came into her apartment. She was completely nude. And she kept hollering at them to let her put something on. She kept saying, you got the wrong place. And they were asking for somebody. She was like, he don't live here. You got the wrong apartment. They completely ignored that woman. She stood there for a while, naked, and they were in the wrong apartment. They were in the wrong place. And I felt so bad for her. I really did. I felt so bad to have all those men around her naked like that. And they wouldn't even let her, because they kept her in a area of her apartment and they wouldn't let her go anywhere else. And she couldn't get anything to put on. And they wouldn't let her until after, I don't know how long it was when they actually allowed her, or they brought a towel or something for her to put on. I think it was probably like 20 minutes or something. And so all these men around her and she's naked. And the apartment that not too long ago just happened where they bust in apartment building. I can't remember the state it was in. What it was black people that lived there. They busted into this apartment building, brought everybody out in the middle of the night, late in the middle of the night, brought everybody out. They said they zip tied all the kids together. Kids was crying. They didn't give a damn. They zip tied all the kids together. And so when she was telling me about that, I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, I told her about my dream where I saw myself, I was asleep and I was fully dressed. So, you can do what you want to do in your apartment. This is just for information, in your apartment or in your house. This is just for information. But, with these ICE agents and the way the government is right now, I'm not surprised if they start busting into more homes. And if you're naked, if you're walking around naked, they're not going to allow you to put some clothes on. You're going to stand there for a while. And like with that black man, they took him outside like that. So I'm just making this video just to cause, to bring awareness that if you are in your home naked, walking around naked, you might want to stop doing that. And I told my aunt, I said, you know what? This apartment, there's a lot of homeless. We were homeless before we came into this apartment. I said, I would not be surprised if something like that happened here. And she was like, I won't be surprised if it happened in my apartment, because she lives in LA, I think by Watts. So she was like, I wouldn't be surprised. She lived in like a senior disabled place, but she said that it's a guy that's always coming there and she thinks he sell dope and his mother lived there. She said, I won't be surprised if they do that into this apartment either. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, let me make a video about it to tell you guys that, you can see, if you can see, because I can definitely see that our rights are being taken away from us. Clearly, our rights are being taken away from us. And I honestly believe that it's going to get to a point where they could be able to just walk up into our homes. We won't have no rights. They'll be able to just come into our homes whenever they want to. So yeah, keep some clothes on. Keep some clothes on. Right when you get out of that shower, put something on. So, and just in case they bust into your home, you'll be dressed. Because they're always getting the wrong house. Always. I don't understand that one. I really don't. And I had a dream a couple of days ago I want to tell you guys about. I had a dream. I can't remember all the details to the dream, but I do remember I had a Bible and I was looking for the beginning. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth was without form or void and darkness and all that stuff. So I was looking for Genesis 1:1. I had a hard time finding it. I couldn't find Genesis 1:1. I kept like turning the page, but I was at the beginning of the Bible And I kept turning thinking, oh, this is it. And it wasn't. And I kept turning again. I'm like, this is it. And it wasn't. Then I came up on, I said, okay, here it is. And then I read, in the beginning, Gang created the heavens and the earth. I said, Gang. It was Gang. In the beginning, Gang created the heavens and the earth. I was like, Gang? I'm like, no, this is not it. And I kept turning the pages looking for, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and earth. I could not find it. I could not find it. The only thing I found was, in the beginning, Gang created the heaven and the earth. Gang, like, you know, I mean, I when I think of gangs, I think of people that, criminals, a gang, Crips, Bloods, what good do gangs do to the community but harass their own people that live in the community? So when I saw gangs, I just thought of Satan and demons. Like, why would he put gang? You know? So I felt that dream was telling me that they're going to change a lot of wording to the Bible. So much that it to fit what they want it to fit. They're going to change a lot of wordings to the Bible to fit what they wanted to fit. I was watching a video. I can't remember the details, but it was something like that happened where they changed it to fit the way the government wanted it to be in the Bible. I'm not going to even talk about exactly where it was. It was something about when 2 or 3 come together. Anyway, yeah. But what I got from it is that the government is going to make changes to the Bible the way they want it to be, the way what they wanted to say, to fit, I guess, their laws and all this stuff. So yeah, I just had to share that dream I had. So there's going to come a time where they're going to be really messing with the Bible and they're going to be really changing stuff. So I'll let you guys go. Y'all have a good day. Bye.